Okay. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Can you guys hear me? Am I echoing? Okay. Can you guys hear me? Echoing? I don't think I'm I don't think I'm echoing. I don't think I'm echoing. Okay, this is good. If I'm not echoing, I think this is good. This is good. Not echoing, I think this is good. So welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I am your host, Carlito Santiago. Unfortunately, my cousin was supposed to be here. Um, he's not. We tried to get a hold of him, tried calling him, it did nothing. No answer, no response. So I'm doing this myself again, which sucks. But we are here. Do have the results up, and let's get down to it. So, with the Royal Rumble fast approaching and in no direction, really, WWE is in full planning mode for the PLE. However, it still had 3 hours to fill on Friday nights. So here's what happened on Friday night: SmackDown. Our opening segment, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Tessitore, I don't know why I say his name like that. Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett, that was a bad British accent, welcomed us to the show by walking through the back and into the crowd as they talked about the arena. Rey Mysterio came out to a big ovation and 619 chants to announce he was competing in the 2025 Royal Rumble match. He ran down the stacked list of entrants and reminisced about winning the Rumble in '06. But Kevin Owens interrupted him, and they got into an argument about KO being delusional about being the champion. Ray said he was acting like Dominic, which of course led to an altercation, a physical one. This was a pretty standard promo and a fight to build a future match. KO has long been a vocal fan of Rey Mysterio and is often seen wearing his shirts, so it could be an interesting feud. Graded a B minus, and I agree. I mean, they needed to give something for Kevin Owens to do, especially a win here. Um, at the expense of Rey Mysterio, to mention he's going into the Royal Rumble. Rey Mysterio is a veteran, so you obviously know that veterans have to be used to put young talent over. Owens is I'd say a good 10-year stint. Owens is still young, but Ray's been a lot around longer, and he's been the underdog ever since, and he's always is. So you always when you're the underdog, you always overcome obstacles that are the most challenging, but you never denounce yourself as a underdog. You saw that with Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker, and you saw what happened. Oh, pretty good opening. Pretty good opening. First, we get to, of course, Naomi and Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. The first match of the night saw Naomi and Belair take on Jax and LeRae in a non-title tag team bout. The EST and the Poison Pixies started things off for their team with a standard sequence. This match ended up going to a break very soon after it began. It fucking sucks. I hate when they do that shit. I hate when they go straight to fucking commercial and they don't and it happens too goddamn soon. And especially like 3 minutes of commercials, guys, like this is ridiculous. Anyway, Jax helped LeRae take control during the picture-in-picture sequence. Okay, well there's something. The champs began to make a comeback after we returned. Belair hit a huge flying crossbody to take down Jax before Naomi came in to keep up the offense. The upper hand shifted a few times, but Jax hitting a leg drop on her own partner by mistake is what sealed the outcome. Naomi finished LeRae off with a Bubba Bomb for the pin and the win. Um, the crowd was really into this one and chanted, "This is awesome" during the final minutes. All four women put in so much good work to make this a solid outing. It would it would have made more sense for the titles to be on the line, but this is a small squabble or squibble. Graded a B, and hey, I thought the titles were actually going to be on the line. I mean, they already had the women's title being on the line against for Tiffany and Bailey. I thought this was going to be where Jackson would already take it, but during a backstage moment, I hope they mentioned this, or maybe they mentioned in the. No, they don't mention it in the opening. Okay, so but yeah, Cody Rhodes refused to sign a contract to face Kevin Owens to face KO until Owens had signed it. But backstage, Naomi and Bianca talked about any culprits to who attacked Jade Cargill, and Cargill said, I got nothing, I got nobody." And Cargill on Twitter or X said, "You sure?" Around that same time. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that was very interesting. So Jade Cargill is going to come back, and it's going to be good. Next up, we had what could have been, ladies and gentlemen, the fucking best match of this night. If only it wasn't ruined. Jimmy Uso versus Carmelo Hayes, and I can't play this video because the YouTube restrictions. WWE probably copyright me for playing their shit. But yeah, Uso roasts Carmelo Hayes. Sorry, can't put that on YouTube. But a backstage moment on last week's show led to Jimmy taking on Carmelo Hayes this week. Jimmy received a nice reaction when he made his entrance. Mello talked some trash on his way to the ring, so Jimmy brought him into the ring and the hard way, or brought him into the ring the hard way from the apron to get the match started. Carmelo Hayes quickly escaped the ring to avoid any drop kicks and, of course, to regroup. They battled through a break into the next segment and put on a physical match that incorporated both of their usual styles well. Hayes was on point with all of his high flying moves. Jimmy placed a great base for him while getting his own stuff in. Unfortunately, like many matches beforehand, especially involving anyone from either the bloodline, this match ended up being a result of a disqualification. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga attacked Jimmy while the referee just watched on helplessly. The match was good, but the ending felt cheap and repetitive. Hayes was taken down by Fatu when he tried to form an alliance. WWE has made the Bloodline story last longer than anyone could have expected, and unfortunately, it's starting to feel like it's running on fumes. It's time to get that oil change, which I will be doing tomorrow, apparently. Graded a B minus, and Uso won by disqualification. See if there's a yeah. Okay, this will follow. This will lead right into it. This could have been, if graded a B minus, this could have been the best match on the show if it wasn't ruined by a fucking DQ. If it wasn't ruined by a DQ, this all would have been better. But they had to. They had to do a DQ finish, and this is fucking horrendous. But yeah, Carmelo Hayes is young. Jimmy Uso is, older. I'm not saying Jimmy Uso is a veteran, even though technically he can be considered a veteran coming in 2010. Longer than 10 years, about to be 15 years actually. Both of them, Jay and Jimmy. But yeah, this could have been the best match if not ruined by a fucking DQ. Like Jacob and Tama, we haven't seen Tonga Loa unless he suffered by an injury. Um, Jimmy is entertaining while Jay gets more of the opportunities at the shine in the solo act. So, but to follow up with that, Sikoa showed up after Jimmy took a beating, but he didn't say a single word. He just ended up leaving through the crowd as Tonga and Fatu looked on confused. So Fatu picked up a mic, delivered a short but intense promo about how the Chargers left San Diego, because that's where they were, before L.A. Knight, yeah, showed up. He was attacked from behind and had the upper hand for about, he attacked them from behind and had the upper hand for about 30 seconds before they teamed up on him. But then, of course, a monster among men showed up, which I thought this was great here. They, if you guys can see this, it says Braun Strowman. Yeah, the braids, guys, the brains and the bronze. Braun Strowman came down to make the save and had a confrontation with Fatu, but it ended in an anticlimactic fashion with Fatu and Tonga leaving. And being announced now by yours truly, WWE has set up Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman to clash next week, literally next Saturday, Saturday Night Main Event, along with Jay and Gunther for the world title, and Sheamus and Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title. I'm sorry, I'm just a bit tired. Next up was a tag team match with Angel and Humberto taking on, of course, Chris Sabian and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns. Electra Lopez was at ringside, but Santos opted to remain backstage. Shelley and Angel had a nice exchange to get the action going, and Angel continues to control the pace after tagging in. But both teams looked really good in this match. Tag team wrestling can be some of the most exciting pro wrestling, and the teams like this are why. The pace was quick, the strikes were stiff. The team based spots were executed with precision. In fact, this was one of the best tag team bouts Los Garzas has been a part of in quite some time. But Pretty Deadly showed up and tried to help Los Garzas, but they were unsuccessful. Shelley and Sabian scored the win to end a really fun tag team match that everyone should take the time to see. And this could be another one you go take the time to see. I've actually took the time to watch both matches and a lot of things happening. And I agree. Great and any minus. Let's keep it that way. The fact that you had Pretty Deadly showed up was probably the minus, but to have this tag team match is great. To go back and forth like tag teams do is amazing. Joe Tessitore talked about the partnership of the WWE partnering with the TNA, especially during, of course, the Motor City Machine Guns entrance. And I think this is big news. Talked about between me and my cuz, talked about never actually like predicted it would happen. Never thought it would happen. It was a great idea to do, like, because they're rivals. But now they used to be rivaled fucking companies way back in the day. But now they are they're in a partnership, and if the rumors are true, WWE could be doing a 40-man and a 40 women Royal Rumble for moving forward with the amount of talent that they have. Now they might not have 40 women, but if you include the women on the TNA side, oh yes, the fuck they do. And the Hall of Famers. So yeah, I think it's interesting to see what's going to happen next. Great tag team match. Honestly, SmackDown is where the tag teams are happening. They're not doing much with Raw. Like you're about to see the New Day come back on Raw, so get ready for that. Speaking of something Raw, earlier in the show, B-Fab challenged Piper and Evans to a match during a backstage segment in the women's locker room. Chelsea Green accompanied Evans to the ring, but B-Fab was unaccompanied. Green, or I don't know if I'm saying that word right, but whatever. Green tried to distract B-Fab to give her friend an advantage, but she saw it coming and took control. She hit a swing neckbreaker for a quick 2 count right away. B-Fab was giving up a lot of size and power, but her height and speed allowed her to maintain the upper hand longer than expected during the power against the powerhouse. Green eventually got under B-Fab's skin, causing her to take too long getting back into the ring. Um, at one point, like Green looked like she was going to use the title belt, and instead, B-Fab just decided to like hop off and punch her, I guess, and then get back in the ring. As she was sliding back into the ring, Nevins was able to hit a senton, followed by her finisher, which is literally a Michinoku driver, or the Piper Plant. That's actually a pretty good name, the Piper Plant. This was quick and didn't have much to do with anything. But what we saw wasn't bad. Meechin showed up with a kendo stick and attacked Nivens, and while Green kept her distance. Continuing with that because, yeah, they want to make this Women's United States Championship important. So, greater to see. There's nothing really to it. So, Kevin Owens refused to sign the same contract Cody refused to sign earlier in the show. He was also wearing a Rey Mysterio Hall of Fame shirt just to add insult to injury. But speaking of that, Kevin Owens had came out in a gray shirt that said, "A Canadian Dream, son of a security systems um te- technician." Let me pull it up. It's here somewhere. It's a very fun callback. Oh, and Shawn Michaels will be moderating a contract signing at Saturday Night Main Event. So they're gonna have a contract signing at Saturday Night Main Event. Great. Another waste of time. Yeah, I think it's technician. But anyway, we get to this match. But beforehand, I want to talk about because I probably know it's not here. There's two things to mention: a WWE tribute to Bob Euchler. Hope I'm saying that right. And of course, a promo video for Charlotte Flair's return. Uh, for the Women's Royal Rumble, guys, I think I'm leaning towards Charlotte and Jade Cargill. Again, I still have to scroll through the media and see where a lot of people's things are at. Again, remember, January 30th will be the official predictions for the Royal Rumble. And I can't wait. This will be the first one. You guys will see you'll see the Wikipedia match screen. You'll see me, of course, just like you're seeing now. It will be great. It'll be great. But finally, Rey Mysterio versus Kevin Owens happens here. Before we get to our main event, or maybe Charlotte's thing comes later. Who knows? Yeah, no. So good thing I mentioned it now. After getting into a fight during the opening segment, Rey Mysterio and Kevin Owens met for a singles match. They were pacing themselves and trying to make each move count, but it ended up leading to somewhat lackluster beginning, which most matches can do that. The first couple of minutes were a bit slow, But once Owens countered a head scissor and a senton, or a hit a senton, the intensity picked up. While they did a good job putting on a solid match, it felt like they were holding back a lot. We know what these two are capable of, especially against opponents of their caliber. It was a little surprising to see here. Though it was good, just not as good as it should have been. Owens knocked the referee into the ropes to make Ray lose his balance, which allowed Kevin Owens to hit a pop-up power bomb for the 1, 2, 3. It looked like Owens was also going to show Ray some respect, but he attacked him and was about to set up for another pile driver that would have put Ray on the shelf. Cody Rhodes instead ran down and began brawling with the prize fighter until officials broke it up. Owens defeated Rey Mysterio with a B plus. This is really good. It keeps the storyline between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes flowing. Now, at the same time, some part of me wants to assume like what happened to Rhodes was not as bad. They made it all that Saturday Night main event match made it feel like, oh my God, Kevin Owens did something terrible to Cody. You know, like the neck breaker, the both band move. This guy broke his neck. They try to hype up all this fucking shit, and then nowhere. It went nowhere with it. Like it didn't like Cody was that injured, didn't relinquish the title, and Owens had to take over. No, 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 no. It was more of like, well, okay, we're gonna have Kevin Owens hit this band move, make it feel like it's a big, big deal. And then treat it as if, well, it's not as bad. Of course, it's not as bad. They also turned Cody into a meme, so that's another beautiful part about it. But still, you want me and the audience to take this as a real fucking thing? Well, you got to make it real. You got to make it feel real, right? Like somebody gets hit against their head, like their neck almost broken. It's like Jesus Christ. You don't think they're gonna wear like a neck brace or something on them, like week to week to week? Before they actually reveal like they're cleared and ready to fight. Like, come on. But anyway, we get to our main event, which is Tiffany Stratton defending the WWE Women's Championship against Bayley. This week's main event saw Stratton defend the title against Bayley. The match got started with almost exactly 20 minutes left in the show, so they had some decent time to work. The former world champion backed Tiffany into the corner and made a clean break, so the champion returned the favor when she came out on top. When they were getting pretty physical right away, the show cut to its first break with Bayley knocking Stratton to the floor. Usually they go to commercial break when they're on the outside of the ring. They like to do that a lot. Whatever. Tiffany was able to regain the upper hand and slowed the pace down a bit after we returned from the break. She was doing her best to focus on Bayley's left arm with most of her offense. This was a strong performance from both competitors, but most importantly, it helped solidify Stratton as the champion by making her look good against one of WWE's most decorated superstars and former women's champions. Now, Roxanne was in the crowd. Also, along with Victoria and Leah Mysterio, who was laughing when Kevin Owens was beating the crap out of Ray and smiling. I don't know why. But Roxanne was in the crowd and had a stare down with Bayley at one point. She didn't interfere, but Stratton was able to counter a little rose plant into an Alabama slam into the prettiest moonsault ever to cap off the show with a win. So Stratton defeated Bayley and retained her title with a B plus. This match was pretty good. I go check it out. You do see Roxanne. Most likely, we're heading in a path where Roxanne and Bayley in NXT will become a feud for them. Probably New Year's Evil will be that match or that feud where they have. I mean, Roxanne is no longer champion, so they really need something for. Or yeah, Roxanne is no longer champion, so they really need something for her to do. And having her take on somebody like Bayley would be a nice little, kind of I guess, passing the torch a bit. Like, yeah, you know what? You're me. I'm still Bayley. I'm still gonna be here. I'm still here, but you're young. I'm gonna give you that role. I used to be where you are, but now you're acting like a little bitch. That I need to put you in your place. So I don't know. I feel like that's where they're headed next. Now, yeah, whatever. This main event is great. I'd go check it out too. But we get to our final. We get to the overall of the show. SmackDown being 3 hours is still taking some time to get used to. I think when WWE puts it on Netflix, or hopefully gets it to Netflix with NXT as well, somewhere maybe in April, May would be a good part. We're going to continue doing this April, May. But SmackDown being 3 hours is still going to take some time getting used to. But whether the show is 2 or 3 hours, the main concern is always the quality of it. That's the main concern, the quality of your show. You want the quality of your show for everybody to tune in week to week to week. It's kind of practically the basic thing you want happen. So if you don't tune in for good quality wrestling, then your show's going to be like shit. But once they get onto Netflix, they'll have that time management where they can go 2.5 hours, which I think is a good amount of time for a wrestling show. 2.5. Save that half for like that first half of the show can be your like talking, talk, and then the rest of it 2 hours later is just wrestling, pure wrestling. While this week's show had a couple of highlights, very little of what we saw felt like must-see TV. I think the best things you could see on this show would be Los Garzas and the Motor Machine Guns and the women's title match that closed the show. Stratton is quickly becoming her own as a women's champion. Bailey was an excellent first title defense because she is so respected as a performer, but then begs the question, well, okay, when she's quickly becoming her own, is she now going to move forward as a heel or is she going to be moved forward as a babyface? Well, we won't know because she took on Bailey here, but this was a pretty good match. But now we kind of get to move past this and see where we get to fit. WWE gets to make Tiffany out. Does she want to be a heel or does she want to be a babyface? It kind of feels very different. Um, but yeah, this week's show wasn't the strongest episode, but it wasn't the baddest either. It's kind of an episode you can pick and choose what to watch without missing much. That is true. Like if you're scrolling, you know how sometimes you watch a favorite TV show and you scroll down and you decide to pick like, okay, I'm not gonna watch like everything in order. I'm just gonna handpick the ones I like. You could basically do that. It's like that. Oh, I'm gonna pick this one, and that's this show. So for that, the grade is a C plus, and I'm gonna back this up and say, yeah, I think it's a C plus too. I would have gave this actually a B minus if Jimmy and Jay were, or if Jimmy and Hayes didn't end in a fucking DQ. But hey, enough about that. This was SmackDown Summary, and yes, we will be back on a Monday for the Raw review, and I cannot wait can't wait to see what happens on Monday night on Netflix again. Um, I love doing this moving forward. I wish my cousin was up and available around these times. Eventually, he's going to be turned into doing me most of the time. I feared that this would be the case, but hey, um, yeah, I finally was able to fix the mic. I know the problem was. I looked it up. I was finally able to get there, but yeah. Um, so I will see you guys on the 21st around 5 o'clock or 5:30. We'll probably move it to 5:30 from now on. So 5:30 is every Tuesdays for the Raw review. Saturdays still the same around 12 to 1 um, for the SmackDown summaries. My predictions video will be coming out in about 2 weeks. Yeah, give or take about 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 weeks. The 30th, Thursday, January 30th, will be my predictions. My cousin will also be coming over for the Royal Rumble. So there is that. I cannot wait. So thank you for watching. We'll be back next week. And of course Tuesday around 5:30. So yeah, look out for that. And I will see you guys when I see you guys. Oh, and like what's going on right now, is what's happening in the world. Yes, shout out support to the LA fire to the people in LA, the people who are helping out for those wildfires in Los Angeles. Shout out to them. Um, I think WWE's doing more in California to raise money so that they can donate. I think that's what they're doing. That's why they've been in California for the past, I don't know, fucking 2 weeks. Remember they went in San Jose. Now um they were in Los Angeles. They were in San Jose. Now they're in San Diego. You know what I mean? So I think they're raising money to help out for LA. But hey, needless to say, shout out to the firefighters and Mexico and Canada who are helping out the fires there. Big support and shout outs and prayers to everybody, in California who are going through it. Big shout out. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week.